For those of you who don't know, I'm actually half Icelandic. And in addition to that, I'm actually an executive member of the Icelandic National League of Canada for the Winnipeg Icelandic Club Frome. Now, a little bit about Christmas in Iceland. It's a little bit different than here in North America. There's actually no Santa Claus, which is actually kind of a good thing considering how Santa Claus is technically owned by the Nazis, considering at that point that was the primary ownership of Coca-Cola at the time was the German party. But in addition to that, there are 13 Yule lads, the Jólasveinar, who are actually picked to represent the Icelandic culture around Christmas. They come down for the 13 days before and the 13 days after Christmas. And basically the tradition is you leave a shoe on your windowsill. And if you're a good child, they will leave you a present. If you're a bad child, Gorilla, the mother of the 13 Yule lads, will take you, toss you into a sack, and take you home to eat.
Whoa.
So, interestingly enough, the club actually, one of our members ended up making 13 puppets to represent the 13 Jólasveinar. So, I was asked to do a little bit of a writing gig with regards to that, which was taking the lore itself and writing up a play, or a piece of poetry that would go along with the play itself, to lead us through the process itself. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is what I have for you this evening. Come, my child, it's time to sleep. May your dreams be sweet. I have a story to tell to help keep nightmares from making you weep. This story is very old, many times has it been told. For over 10 centuries, Yule has been celebrated in the cold. This tale goes back to when the Christians tried to dampen spirits and revelry to prevent, like the tale of Rooney's punishment. From the harshness of winter's storms, down from the mountains, comes the ogress Gorilla and her 13 Jólasveinar, all hideous and forlorn. No one quite knows how many children Gorilla had, but it came to be a little over 200 years ago that we came to know the main 13. With a sack over her shoulder as the days got darker and colder, Gorilla would set out for children for her stew, but not the good ones, only the bad, lazy, or rude. Ahead of her she sent her 13 sons, leaving her third husband at home with the bubbling pot kept on. Through the snow the 13 trudged on. So leave your shoe by your sill, they'll be watching for you too. Be a good child each day before the Yule, and you'll be rewarded each dawn. To go through the actual story itself, because there was actually a second person helping me with this when it was doing the piece, So basically the next section is going to be the 13 lads themselves, and each of them had their own specific verse. The first brother has arrived, stiff and old, not just from the cold. Steck your stir, the sheep warriors throw the barn into a fit. Originally too stiff to bend to get the milk from the ewes, he'll happily help himself to a glass of milk or two. Who is that creeping up from the back, hiding in the shadows and ravine? Gilliagar the gully hawk sneaks in to track the milkmaid until she looks away, then takes the fresh milk in his creamy froth he takes. The first to leave, but third to arrive, still first followed considerably by his diminutive size. Stubby's a sneak he'll hide from sight, but if you're good, a gift he'll leave before seeing the dawn's light. If your shoe is too high and you leave him no stool, you'll find on the floor left your potato. That was generally, instead of the lump of coal, it was either a small piece of fruit or small present, or a potato if you were not good. In the shadows of the kitchen, waiting for sticky spoons to be set aside, Horace Laker, the spoon licker, will oft hide. Not a fan of clean households, if you set your spoons aside, he'll gladly lick them clean and leave them behind. Whether he arrives by land or by sea, Horace Laker is happy to find a pot left dirty. He'll clean it out, the bottoms inside, especially the crunchy bits left behind. The pot licker isn't just a fan of the pots are left empty. Keep an eye on pots left unattended. The last of the brothers with his stomach first in mind, the Askalaker under beds would hide, waiting for a bowl to be set aside, then with the swiftness despite his size, he'll sneak off in your Askar, just enjoy it to his delight. Askar traditionally are the wooden bowls that were used for each individual family member's meal. They were actually very intricately designed and usually had the name of the person engraved in them. Who was that running around making noise in the night? Slamming doors is the herd of Skeller's delight. The door slammer is known to cause a terrible fright, for he tells soon that Gorilla will arrive by the night. A glutton as such, he is true to his name. Scaragammers comes on the 19th day. He'll find a barrel or two of scare, much to his delight, and the scare glutton will stuff himself to help sleep at night. Scare being a traditional dessert, actually made from curds of milk and served with heavy cream and sugar, and sometimes wheat. One of the older brothers, aging in his year, Kanne is still nimble enough to climb the rafters, for there the sausage stealer will find his treat in the form of links of seasoned meat. But with the modern homes, he'll head to the fridge, opening a door to steal his links is a great preference. Leave the curtains open and tuck the knickknacks away, for the Guggelgäger will come on the 21st day. The window peeper is always looking for something to snatch. If he's caught, he'll make faces to make you scared or laugh. In days past, you'd have only one floor to see, but binoculars have solved the problem, you see. With the family working to make a loaf of bread with care, you know that Gattefafer will soon be there. Led by his nose, he needs not his eyes to see. The scent of the loaf of bread will lead him surely. He knows the treat will be made only days before the end of the journey his mother Grilla has made. The cake croaker, a meat hooker, is a true animal. He loves any kind of meat, a true carnivore. He uses various hooks and reaching tools to steak mutton, cooking meats, and even skate too. With regards to the later, it may not be to his taste, for he'd rather a leg of smoked mutton any day. Skate is more along the lines of like a dried fish, so it's generally a very potent smell. The last of the lads to arrive on Christmas Eve, the Curtis Sneaker is a traditional lad indeed. He prefers tallow candles as they are good to eat, but now in these times of wax candles, he settles for something else to eat. Now, keeping all these things in mind, the job of the Ola's Vaner is bad children to find. For when the very feral mangy Yule cat appears outside, you know the gorilla is not far behind. Thank you.
Give it up for Mason.